It's going to be my 3-year review of fluid film, and I'm going to compare how it works after 3 years compared to a car that did not have fluid film. And this car here is a 2012 Subaru Impreza, and it's very dirty, as you can tell from the video here. It's got a lot of dirt, a lot of grime on it from the winter. This is the end of March here, and I still have my snow tires on. We get a lot of snow, as you can see here. We still have a lot, even though we've had quite a few bit warm and sunny days. I know last year we got about 34 inches of snow in April, which is not very common in our area, but nonetheless, it's kind of telling of how much snow we get. And yeah, it's just a Sport Impreza, not a WRX or anything. They didn't make it the hatchback in this body style. It's a slow car, but it's really good in the winter. It's a very balanced car, handles really well. Got snow tires on here, got some Blizzaks, 6 or 7/16 of an inch tread left. Got dedicated snow tire rims, so I don't have to worry about getting my sport rims corroded from all the salt that we get here. As you can see, there's a lot of fluid film residue left over, and I'll open the doors in a second so you can see where I actually sprayed it, and you can see where it came out and how far fluid film creeps up and around the door, because I didn't spray any on the outside of the car. It's creeped about an inch here, as you can see from my finger here for scale. This is about an inch or inch and a half. It's crept, and I sprayed this when it was pretty cold out, and if you spray the fluid film when it's a little bit warmer out, it creeps a little bit better. So again, here's some spots here where you can see where I sprayed fluid film in these cracks, and it's crept out of there. I've had pretty good success with it. You can see here on the back I sprayed it up in this cavity up in here where the license plate lights are, and it's crept all the way out here, about 34 inches in some spots. So you can tell it covers really well, and it's self-healing. If it gets worn away, if you scrape it away, you scrape it off like that, eventually it'll creep back up into those spots where it scrapes off. For example, if you get a bunch of rocks or road spray, spraying it off, blasting it off the undercarriage, it'll kind of self-heal. So that's what's really nice about it. So if you look up here in the doors, you can see I sprayed it up in these cavities here where a lot of salt and spray can get stuck in and cause corrosion. Same within the doors and those little door drains. Sprayed it in all the door drains, and it crept all the way around the outside of the door here. Alright, here's the underside of my car. I haven't washed it off yet. I haven't sprayed the undercarriage at all. I didn't do any car washes this year because when you, if you do car washes, don't do the undercarriage spray. Because if you do, what'll happen is the undercarriage blast will help to wash the fluid film away quicker than it would fall off otherwise on its own. Not fall off, but it would, the road spray itself can blast the fluid film off. It's pretty resilient stuff, but over time, the more you drive in slush and snow and rain, when the road spray blasts the undercarriage, it can start to wear away the fluid film a little quicker. So if you do car washes, don't do the undercarriage blast, because it'll leave your car unprotected more so than if you didn't. I washed mine one time over the winter. I don't really care what my car looks like with the on the outside, but I like to keep it from rusting away on the underside. So you can see the exhaust is really rusty up here, but otherwise it's holding up pretty well. I'm going to try and blast off some of this built up fluid film and some of the dirt and grime that sticks to it, and kind of see what I have at that point. It looks like they're starting to get a little bit of rust here on some of these spots. Like here are these control arms attached to the frame here. It looks like there's a little bit of orange rust, and it looks like up here on the spindles, looks like there's maybe some paint came off there, so I'll be blasting that area really well next fall when I do it again. So, but it's generally not that rusty. Starting to get a little bit more here and there than last time. Definitely better than if I didn't put anything at all on it. And yeah, I'm gonna spray it off and see what it looks like without all this dirt and grime on it, see if we can get a little better picture of what it looks like. Okay, so I sprayed off the bottom, and what I'm seeing here is after I sprayed off all the grime and gunk, there are definitely quite a bit more rusty spots than I was anticipating, because last year I had one small one on the frame rail, and this year I'm noticing quite a few more. There's still small spots, like up here on the bottom of the strut here, it's quite rusty, and up on these frame rails up here as well. It's kind of hard to see a little close here, but they're still just surface rust spots. They're not very big, and what I'm thinking is I think it would be very beneficial to spray another time midway through the winter. As you drive a lot on the roads, when the spray and the salt and the rock salt and the sand comes up underneath your car, it kind of scrapes away some of it and washes away a lot of the fluid film. But where it stays, as you can see, like on the back sides of these frame rails, it's very, very still protected. It's still protected quite a bit. And there's no rust on any of these bolts, like on the pictures I'm going to show you of a Crosstrek. And it was the Crosstrek that I'm going to show you was it was 3 years old when I test drove it, because I was looking at buying a car before I bought this one, and it was extremely rusty, and it was in the same area where I drive my car, so it's pretty close to, it's pretty good car to use. So it's a pretty good car to use for a comparison for this. And here's some of the video from my car from last year, from where I was at 2 years compared to now, so you can kind of see how much it's changed since then. I will say, in terms of what's the best for your car to keep it rust free, there are a few different options. One is the best and the only way to keep your car rust free is to not drive it in the winters, which is pretty obvious. The second thing I would say is the best option is to have a professional place spray a undercoating, something like Crown, or if you could get another place to spray fluid film, because I'm pretty sure Crown and fluid film are pretty similar products. But they're pretty thorough when they do it. They'll put it inside your doors and they'll drill holes and things like that. So I'm sure their application process is much better than if you do it yourself. The second best option would be, or the third best option, I would say, would be a double spray of fluid film. So once in the fall, once midway through the winter, then followed by the single spray in the fall. After that, I would say car washes, doing frequent car washes with undercarriage blasts are the next best option. And then obviously the worst option is to never wash your car in the winter and not put anything on it. And then actually it's probably a worse one, those rubberized undercoatings that hold in moisture and cause actually more harm than good. That would be the absolute worst thing you could probably do for your car in the winter. I do drive a lot in the winter. I do probably 10K miles in the winter, about 500 a week. So it's a little more than the typical driver, I would say. And that's just through the winter. So yeah, I'd say it does a pretty good job though otherwise.